Will not face criminal charges for hitting a woman who was sitting on the sand at the Oceanfront.
The accident happened back in September. Today, the Commonwealth's attorney announced there will be no charges. Her has more.
Well, guys, this happened after Labor Day weekend. The woman was sitting in a chair when the truck hit her. The woman went to the hospital with significant injuries, but she did survive. A local attorney I spoke with says this was a unique case. It was the weekend after Labor Day, with people still out at the beach, when things took a tragic turn. A truck driver hitting a woman sitting on a chair at the oceanfront. The driver was an independent contractor working for an event organizer and was on the sand picking up equipment after a Labor Day weekend event. The woman had significant injuries, but on Wednesday, months after the September incident, the Virginia Beach Commonwealth's attorney ruled no charges will be filed against the driver per their investigation.
Well, it's an unusual case.
Gary C. Byler is an attorney from Virginia Beach. He has decades of experience dealing with injury cases.
It's a hybrid case where you've got some traffic issues involved, and then the right-of-way on a beach is obviously something we don't deal with every day.
The Commonwealth's attorney says there was insufficient evidence from their investigation to charge the driver with any criminal or traffic offense.
Every case is different. I don't think there's any question about the injury sustained in this case, but that doesn't necessarily lead to facts sufficient for a conviction.
Byler believes not criminally prosecuting someone doesn't necessarily mean that person wasn't negligent or at fault. It just means the criminal law doesn't provide a recourse. However, he believes the case probably should have been handed to another city.
This is, again, a hybrid set of facts, and it's a little complex. All the more reason to bring in a set of eyes that are independent from the city in any respect. Because of the unique facts of this case being on a beach, I can understand the Commonwealth's reluctance to prosecute.
And we reached out to the Commonwealth's attorney for additional comment, but they told me they weren't interested in commenting any further. 13 News Now.